Hi, this is Lou Mycroft and I'm doing this quick screencast to tell you how to set up a Twitter account. I've gone to Google and asked it how to sign up with Twitter, and it has sent me straight to a Twitter help guide, which you could just read through depending on how you take in information. You could be working through it as I'm talking. I'm going to click on twitter.com sign up, and I may not be able to go through all the steps with you because I've already got a Twitter account. So it's obviously taken me straight to my screen, but where it will take you is to ask you some questions about the email you want to sign up with, about the Twitter handle that you want, and I'll come back to that, and about verifying the Twitter account that you've set up. So what it'll probably do is ask for your mobile phone number, and if you put that in, it will send a code, usually a 6-digit code, to your phone. You then put that back in on your laptop screen and your Twitter account will be set up. One of the things that I will say to you is, once it's set up, it will immediately ask you what your interests are. And if you don't untick those boxes, it will make your Twitter account follow all sorts of people. And what that tends to mean is that you feel immediately overwhelmed because you've got a really full timeline from the start. So when you get to that screen, I would recommend that you untick the boxes, and there should be a deselect all or untick all option for you to sign. Then what will happen is you'll get to a screen like this one here. Only here where it says 16 new tweets, you probably won't see anything other than a welcome message from Twitter. And here it will just be a sort of egg cup, like a sort of Cluedo figure avatar. The first thing to do then is, before you even get to this stage, is decide what you want your Twitter name to be. I'm really lucky that when I signed up to Twitter, I was the only Lou Mycroft. So I was able to let it just be my name. Depending on your name, that may or may not be possible. What I would say to you is think of something that you wouldn't mind people following who worked with you. So don't make it can be witty, but don't make it too jokey or, too unprofessional, I suppose. It doesn't have to be sort of boring. People have all sorts of names, often a play on their own name or something they really believe in. You can have a capital letter in it, but you wouldn't need to type that capital letter if you were going to be following anybody. You can't have things like hyphens and spaces. You can have numbers, and you'll have the opportunity both to put in your Twitter name and your own name. So even if that said at Mexborough Mum, here I could still put Lou Mycroft because it doesn't matter if that's the same as somebody else. Once you have decided that and got through to this screen here, if you click on this space, it takes you to your profile. And this is what other people see when they decide to check you out on Twitter. And the button that matters here is the Edit Profile button. And you can use that to do a number of things. Upload a profile photo of yourself, one that looks good small. This is a bit bigger. You can see I'm in my sister's kitchen and there's her ironing pile. So, I don't mind too much because it's not often blown up like this. Here is a cover picture. I have chosen to upload something that represents my work. This is me and my thinking environment work. And then have a real think about what you want to put in your bio here, because you've not got an awful lot of space. You want it to be eye-catching and you want it to really reflect the message that you want to go out. It's important to me on Twitter that people know what I'm involved in. Tutor Voices here is also on Twitter. That's you can see what it is. That's a network for educators that I'm involved in. Fabian Women is it's a training program that I'm on, a political mentoring program. And then here is a hashtag. So you'll see that when I click on the hashtag, it doesn't bring up a profile. That's because JISC50 Social isn't a person or an organisation. It's actually an event. It's an award that I won. So if you clicked on Tutor Voices, you would see all their tweets. If you click on JISC50 Social, what you would see is where people have, anybody in the whole world have used that hashtag in their message in order to connect with people they don't know often who are interested in the same thing. So JISC50 Social was a couple of years ago now. Probably the hashtag would be a bit out of date. I'm going to choose for us to look at the PDM Reflect hashtag. As you see, it gives me the chance to put my birthday. I don't mind putting that information out there, but you might not want to. When I first came on Twitter, notice that August 2009, I would say it was 2014 before I really got going. I had a little blast in summer 2012 when the Olympics were on, but it took me 5 years really to find a place for Twitter in my professional life. And then once I did, that was it. And my work, my interest, my career, my confidence, my enthusiasm has really grown because of being involved in Twitter. I'm not joking. I absolutely put it down to that. Broadcasts are when I've got involved in something called Periscope, which is a live video stream on Twitter. If that sounds terrifying, you don't have to go anywhere near that. And here is a link to my website. Here's where I am physically. And again, you don't have to share that information if you don't want to. This is where you would go to edit your profile. You see, it gives you the chance to type in all of those boxes. So I'm just going to cancel that because I don't want to make any changes. Have a look here. Since 2009, I've done nearly 20,000 tweets, bit obsessive. I'm following 2,421 people. I've got 2,110 followers at the moment. These are the posts that I've liked. If you're on Facebook, you will probably notice some of the same language and some of the same actions. But as a platform, Twitter operates differently. Here are some lists that I have formed. But if I'm absolutely honest, never really got on with lists on Twitter. If you needed me to do you a tutorial on that, I would find out what they're all about. But I've never found a purpose for them. Which brings me to how I am structuring this screencast and other screencasts that I've made. I'm structuring them by talking first of all through the first principles of something and then starting to think about what the purpose for it might be. And those two steps need to play, against one another in your mind all the time you're embarking on something new, which is digital, because that's how your interest in it will grow side by side, the first principles and the purpose. Okay, let's go back to the home page. Home is my Twitter feed. So that means that everybody I choose to follow, whenever they tweet something, it appears in my Twitter feed. And you'll see that I've got mainly educators. I'm also interested in politics. I've got like silly things like, somebody tweets the whole of James Joyce's massive book Ulysses on an ongoing basis. It just makes me smile. I have kittens, I have news items, I have like my son and my friends. I don't have Lady Gaga. I do have Martina Navratilova because she's amazing on Twitter, but it tends to be interests. If I want to follow a sort of popular culture event, like last few weeks I've been following Celebrity Big Brother, I tend to use the hashtag for that because I only want to follow it for a limited amount of time. If I really like characters who are in that, I will follow them. So I follow Courtney Act because I'm really interested in the things that she has to say about gender and about sexuality, political work. But I don't follow other people, even if I like them in the house, because I'm not really interested in what they have to say. So that's the Twitter feed. If I wanted to, I can see what's tweeting. So for example, if I've been out of touch or switched off for a while, I might want to sort of wake up in the morning and see what the news is. I can either turn on the Today programme and get really depressed, or, people are a bit noisy sometimes on the telly. I tend to just come to Twitter and then I see immediately what the trends are, and it either catches my attention or it doesn't. Sometimes work things appear there. So Good and Bad Help is a project I've been involved in with Nesta. That's been live streaming at the minute, had a lot of attention, so that's why it's found its way into the trends. These trends are deliberately London trends because I'm interested in national rather than local perspectives at the moment. Moments again is just about, what's happening now, what's up to date, tends to be a bit celebrity dominated. I don't really look at moments very much. If I do, I'd look at news. Is that news? Or I'd look at sport. Usually if there's something going on like Commonwealth Games or something that I'm really interested in. Notifications are where people tag me into something or they send me a message which is not private. The thing to remember on Twitter is that it's all public unless it's a direct message, and a direct message is contained in this box here. Okay, so it's always worth remembering that everything takes place in public. I really like that idea because I think it helps us be more congruent and not be hidey about things. So here you are. I'm sort of half involved in a conversation between some people here around apprenticeships and class. I've come out of that a little bit to talk to you. So it's been rumbling on while I've been making this screencast. Because I'm tagged in, here appear the messages to me. You'll see here that as I hover over people, even if it's me, the profile comes up. But here on apprentices, because that's a hashtag, it doesn't. To move on to hashtags, let's have a look at what's happening with PDN Reflect, which is the Twitter chat. Hopefully you'll get involved in with us on a Tuesday. It's always worth looking at clicking on to latest when you click on a hashtag. Top just means most popular. So here we are. PDN North organisation has tweeted using the PDN Reflect hashtag event to trail the Twitter chat that's happening at 8 p.m. tonight. So the trail has been going for a couple of days. Once the Twitter chat starts, what happens is that a number of questions get posted by PDN North, and then whoever's present chimes into those questions. Their answers get lost unless they use this PDN Reflect hashtag, which collects them all together. So just to summarise, going back onto home there. Just to summarise, Twitter is public. It's a place to go to be able to talk with people. It's a great place to be able to follow and communicate with people who think differently to you or who come from different backgrounds. So if you are thinking about how to decolonize the work that you do, make it less white or less male or less middle-aged or less able-bodied or less straight, any of those things, to diversify your work, to diversify your own thinking outside wherever you are placed in terms of identity, Twitter is brilliant. You can bravely follow people because you think they might have something interesting to say, and then if they don't, you can dump them. There's no etiquette around following and unfollowing people as there would be on Facebook when, your relatives would fall out with you. So that's just a quick wander around Twitter. Hopefully, even though I couldn't show you the steps because I was already signed up and I've done this in a bit of a hurry in response to a request, there's enough in here for you to be able to make a start. If you follow me, when you start building up your timeline, if you want to send a message to me that only you and I and people who follow us both will see, if it's really private, put it in there. Yeah, just click on it and it's obvious. But if you don't mind it being a bit public, just type my Twitter name at the start of the message. That's only viewable by people who follow you and people who follow me. If you typed hello or something else in front of it, it would be viewable by anybody who was following either one of us. I hope that makes sense. You can always tweet me if you want to find out more. Bye now.